Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Unstoppable Podcast. Ralph Graves Jr. Guys, I'm excited. I get excited every interview, but this one here, all the way from Cape Town, South Africa, my friend, Terence Crowster. How are you, sir?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me on the show. Thanks. Well, I'm good. I'm a little bit tired. I've been doing some work today where we hand out some stationery packs to over 500 young people.
Wow.
Today at the library.
Wow. Let me tell my listeners what you do. Like I said, he's in Cape Town, South Africa. And when I came across the story, I had to get him on the Unstoppable Podcast because he's truly unstoppable. Terence, for those of us over here in the U.S., he took meager means and made it a bookstore. And when I say meager, they were containers, ship containers, correct?
Shipping containers, yes. Yeah.
Took shipping containers, made them into a hotspot, books, library, bookstore, whatever the case may be, in the middle of two warring gangs, land they're warring over. He's right in the middle. It's called the hotspot, and he's providing books to young and old readers alike. Welcome. Welcome to this podcast, Terence. Terence, now that is truly an unstoppable feat. You know, when we think of people doing some things. Let me ask you this. Where did that idea come from?
So let me start by saying this. So I was basically, for years, I knew that there's something that I wanted to do. Because there was no library. It's Scottsville, Kraaifontein. It's in Cape Town. It's a community like what I used to call the lost community. Because everybody thought that this community was okay, and nothing was being done by government in the community. However, I was running away. When God told me to do something,
yeah,
I thought, this thing is way too big for me to do. The first one was how am I going to fund it? Where will I get the books? Will people come? Will people buy into this concept? And then I even rented out for free these two shipping containers.
Okay.
To another organization. Say, listen here, you use it because I don't know what to do with it.
Okay.
But in the midst of that, while I was doing it, I went to some schools. And I was doing some work on schools where we do anti-bullying awareness and leadership training for the prefects on the school.
Okay.
And also did some work with fetal alcohol syndrome. So now when you do this, when I do this, it's a very interactive type of a program that I'm doing. So it will enable or I want the kids to be part of it. And then so at times they had to read. Saying that, I got to grade 7, grade 8. This is now just before you go to high school.
Yeah.
And they really can't read and write. And I went to high school and I saw kids that can't read and write properly.
Wow.
And that became an issue to me.
So at grade 7 and 8, right before high school, many of the children, not just like here in America, many children where you were couldn't read or write upon entering high school.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they couldn't read. They couldn't read and write. And then God again told me, listen, this is what you need to do. At that point of him telling me this is what you need to do, I looked at the shipping containers, but I also looked at the fact that where the shipping containers are situated is where the gang on gang violence are taking place. The rivalry between two gangs started just growing. And on the spot, I can remember I was standing there, and while I was engaging with the community about this idea on Facebook, I went to the shipping containers, to the spot, and one of the gang drug dealers was killed on the spot. On the spot here. So then I just started saying, okay, this is you, Lord, just assist me. And then the name came to life, the hotspot.
Yeah.
Because where the shipping centers are, the library is situated, it's a hotspot for gang violence, for drug abuse.
and all the other things that is attached to this gang violence and drug abuse. But also the other meaning for the hotspot, if you don't have data on your phone, you can connect to my mobile hotspot. And once you're connected to my mobile hotspot on my phone, you can then access resources. You can then access anything that you want.
Wow.
And that's the one thing that we want to do, is to connect young people with resources and resources to young people by creating this meaningful connection with young people, so that when they are there, they are on a safe environment, they are a safe space for them, but there's also an opportunity for them to where we created this variety of programs on the platform for them to engage, enable us to engage with them on a level where they are not threatened by us, but it's something that they want to do, and it's our opportunity to make a connection with them.
Let's go back. I want to talk about all of what you just said, but let's go back. So you're out there and you're on the spot, and a gang member gets killed right on the spot, but because you're unstoppable, that doesn't stop you. That just keeps you moving forward. You know, we are cut from the same cloth. The bigger the difficulty, then I'm with it. You seem to be with it too. What was some of the thought of family and friends and those who kind of just left that area be? Did you get pushback? Did you get a lot of assistance? I know a few people may have helped, but what was the overall? What was going on in your group around you? What did they say? Terence, don't do that, or what were they saying?
When I started engaging with, I used the platform I used Facebook as a platform to engage with the community.
Okay.
And on this platform, I started sharing the idea. So I know the question that I asked: what do you think about a library? What do you think about something that's the in? I know the people of Scottsdale, there's no recreational facilities, there's no library, there's a hall, there's community hall, but it's forever closed.
Okay.
And then there's no other sports field and nothing. So saying that I've engaged with the community, and the amazing thing happened, that people started saying, this is what we want. We think that this will work.
Wow.
Obviously, there will be opposition, like always, and opposition will always come from people that unexpected people. But the majority of the community said the idea was a good idea, and they bought into the idea, because they know that in a community that's been forgotten, something is being birthed that can create a safe haven for their kids to go to, an opportunity for their kids not to change the direction of where they go to. Because for most of these kids, if they wake up and gang violence and substance abuse and drug abuse is like a second skin to them. They put it on every day.
Yeah.
And for us, we there just to break the sense of that the thing that kept them bound for them mentally, kept them bound for many years.
Yeah. And books just open up a whole new books allow you to see so much further than where you are presently. I was reading in the article, I don't know if it was on YouTube. I found an article about you somewhere. My daughter sent it to me. She's my assistant. And it was a young lady. She was reading a book, and it was a book about Hawaii. And she says, I'm sitting here, but I'm actually in Hawaii right now. People don't understand the power of books. And I'm an avid reader, always been. Shout out to my mom and dad who made me read when I was younger. They open up your mind. They show you what possibilities can be, what it could be. And I know by having that library there, some kids will be freed in their mind. Some will find out, hey, I can leave this situation. I can leave this environment and really reach my full potential. So having a man like you there is like, it's a godsend. And I'm so glad you listened to the voice of God in your heart and in your mind, to put a place. You're an angel. It's what you're an angel. You're a minister, if you will. And because some kids' lives will never be the same because of it. What's the average age that come to the library?
So we have a variety of kids that comes to the library because of the type of programs that we run. So we run a 6-day program from Monday to Saturday.
And so we have every age is basically, you say they come from 6 years old, and some even younger than 6 years old, because they just come there because of the safe space.
Yeah.
But every age is obviously between 10 and 15 years old.
Okay. Okay.
For most of them. Yeah.
Now, is there any way, I know you say do a lot on Facebook. What if we had some kids in that age group over here, in my audience, over here in the United States, that wanted to connect with them and kind of encourage one another? Do they reach out through, could they post it on your Facebook wall? I mean, is there a connecting program? Can they exchange books? I remember the book exchange program from years ago over here in the United States, where you would send a book to somebody and 36 books would come back to you because 36 people were involved in this book exchange program. You know, is there a way for maybe our children to connect with them, just to kind of, you know, hey, it's amazing to connect with someone, you know, in a different continent?
Yeah, there is a way. So what they can do is basically use our Facebook and inbox us and share some what you want to do and how you want to do it. And then obviously I can connect some of the young people. I've spoken to our young youth today, and this year we're starting a new mentorship program, and we want to engage with these young people.
Wow.
Especially the boys that are so easily pulled into to the gang.
Yeah.
So I spoke to them about the benefits of being part of our program. And again, like I said, it's not just about the reading, but for us to make this connection with you over the year, so that you can grow and so that you can change your mind. And because the one scripture that always sticks to me, as a man thinketh in his heart, so shall it be. And that's the one thing that we want to encourage our young people. Is that you need, if you think of yourself poor, and I had a chat with them today. If you think of yourself poor, there's nothing that anyone can do. But if you think of yourself rich, if you can change the way you think about yourself, you can change anything around you. You can change the environment, even in the midst of a storm. You can be the calmest person because of your mindset. And so there's a way to connect with us, and that's obviously using Facebook, or people can email us. Our email address is on Facebook, and people can just talking to us.
Well, let me ask you, what are you learning right now? What are you learning, Terence? You know, I know you do a lot of teaching, but what are you learning right now as far as what you're capable of, or what are you learning about yourself, and what are you learning in this process?
What I've learned in the process is that you're never too old to learn. That's the one thing. And what I've learned is that prayer is absolute must. It's a necessity for us, because if it wasn't for prayer, God would never have done the things that He did through us and for me and through me and for the community out there. And I've learned that for me, I need to just stick close to God. That's the one thing that I've learned. I need to stick close to Him. Because there's so many things that comes along, and you would know this. Once you're on a certain platform, certain people will come on your journey. And then they will try to influence the way you do things and the way you walk and the way you talk. But for us, it's just we need to stay close to God. And the one thing that I've learned in this whole process is keep God so close to you. If you want things to happen, you need to keep God so close to you. Because He is the one that whatever is impossible to do is possible with Him.
Wow. Thank you for that. You know, I often say it's one thing to know the Word of God. It's another thing to trust the Word of God. So, they produce two different type results. You can know all you want, but He really doesn't do amazing things through you until you really trust Him. And I thank God that you're a man of prayer. You've been praying, and He's done amazing things through you, just changing the lives of children there and abroad. I mean, your story is so amazing to do something like that. I mean, to start from scratch. So many people believe that they need a whole lot to start. You were given an idea and you had 2 shipping containers.
I can still remember when we started out with the shipping containers. There were just 2 shipping containers, 3 meters long shipping containers, and we had 2 of them.
Wow.
And we started out in 1 shipping container because the other one was full of books that we stored in there. So we had 1 shipping container. I took milk crates to create shelves out of it, so that we can put the book there, because we didn't have money to buy shelves. So we started just collecting milk crates, put it in a way that we can create our own shelves. And then so we started out with 30. At the time, we started out with 30 young people.
Wow.
That came and they were part of it. Today we're sitting with over 750 young people coming to our library.
Wow.
And we also started another 3 libraries last year.
Okay.
In 3 other areas where gang violence is basically similar to the one in Scottsville. So
and so you're making it. Most people run away from difficult areas. I like men and women that run to difficult areas, and it seems like you've franchised, or you spread out. You have grown into other forgotten areas, other hardcore areas, and I love that. I love that. What has the response been in those other areas to the libraries?
I just took the model that I've started off, and that's started to go into the community. Before I do anything, I started walking talking to people, started looking at what other organizations are, what other pastors are, what other people are there I can connect with.
Yeah.
So that I can understand the heartbeat of the community, so I can understand what this community needs, because not all of the communities are the same. Not all of their melodies are the same. So I would listen, I would sit, I would listen, I would engage with young people. I would walk around and talk to them and listen carefully to what they say and what they don't say. And through that, I've established a kind of a way of how we're going to engage and what we're going to do and when we need to launch our libraries and so the response was basically similar to the other areas, because like the one in Kraaifontein in Scottsdene, it's another area in Cape Town.
Okay.
It's close to Scottsville. There is a library in the community. A government library is in the community, but those kids can't go to the library because of a street that's keeping them on this one side, because of territory, of gang territory. Wow. They said I can't go there. So now we brought the library to the area.
Okay.
And we said, listen here, so here's your library. So you don't have any excuse to become what you want to be. You don't have any excuse to say that we can't read. You don't have any excuse to slip into a book and find yourself in a completely different space and feel the freedom that you always wanted to feel.
Yeah.
Because so many of those kids are so bound because of the stuff that's happening around them. Yeah. And so now we've created that space for them.
I want to get some books over to you, man. Can I donate books to what you're doing? Can I send some books over there?
Yeah. You may send some books to us. Yes. And we will gladly take the books. We in the process of starting another 4 libraries in difficult areas. The one thing that we basically started a mobile hotspot library.
Okay.
Now we've built a bookshelf on wheels.
Wow. Where
we can transport it to any community, and we can put it in. We can walk around in the streets with this bookshelf, and we have it's got everything in it.
Okay.
We start with build this from scratch, and we can have this bookshelf there in your community, and through that, people started engaging and saying, listen, we also want this thing. We also want something in our communities, because we see the need for this, and we see how this is impacting our community. So books is always a need for us. Yeah.
Where would I send the books to? What's the address? My audience might have some books they might want to send some. Is there an address we could send them to and you pick them up or?
So we don't have a post office post box, but I do have an address. So what will happen is the post office, if it's there, the post office will obviously then phone us and send me a thing that I can then just pick it up. But our address is 89 Horak Street, Peerless Park East in Kraaifontein, Cape Town, South Africa.
All right, I'm gonna write that down. Say it one more time.
89 Horak Street.
How do you spell Horak Street? How do you spell that?
Horak.
Okay.
Yeah, and then is Peerless Park East. Peerless Park East.
Park East.
East, yeah, and then Kraaifontein is KRAAIFONTEIN.
EIN.
Yeah, 7570 postal code, and that's in Cape Town, South Africa.
7570 Cape Town.
Yeah, Cape Town, South Africa.
I'm sending some books over this week.
so thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I now 89 Horak Street, and what is that? What is that? Plus Park Avenue?
Peerless is PEERLESS.
Okay, all right, got it. Peerless Park East, got it. Kraaifontein 7570 Cape Town, South Africa.
That's correct.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you. Now, I can't let you go, man, because I want to talk about you working through challenges. You had talked about prayer. You talked about, showing up and use really the same formula I use when we're going to different communities. Walk around the community first. Don't tell them what they need. Find out what they need. Find out what their how you can help out. How come how you can become a part of it. What are some of the major challenges you see with the children besides not being able to read? Do they get peer pressure? Do they get
Yes.
Do they get teased for coming in? Do they get bullied for being a part of the library?
There's a lot of challenges, yes. So a lot of they've been teased, they're being bullied, there's a lot of peer pressure in a community to be tough because they live in a community where you need to be tough.
Yeah.
So a lot of these young people need to be tough, and obviously the peer pressure of being involved in something just to sustain yourself, but also just to run away from the things that is happening at home.
Yeah.
So, and one thing that I also always talk to the parents about is that one thing that they need to learn is the ability to use the body language and the way the gangsters are talking to their kids.
Yeah.
And because they will always praise you before they tell you what to do, and before they finish off, they will always praise you again.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that a lot of these young people don't get. They don't get a lot of praise for the small things that they've achieved in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some parents, that because life happens to us all, especially when you're a parent. People say that life happened. I need to work. I need to sustain. I need to do this. I need to put bread on the table. But I don't have time to sit down and talk to my kids. And then there's always other people that can feel you. And most of the time in our communities that we work in, the fuel that these kids are getting is from the other friends that are bullies, the gang leaders, the drug dealers, the all the other stuff that's negative to the community.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of challenges in the community, and there's a lot of challenges when it comes to our young people. But we've been fortunate enough, and to at least reach a total of 750 in over almost 2 years. We've grown from 30 to 750 young people being members of our library, coming to our library and being part of programs that we do in a community.
So the library is going to be the biggest gang in all the territory after a while. 750
That's what we
kids.
say.
Yeah.
Today, what happened today was one of these guys, he was in another part of the community, and he wanted to cross over from that street into another area where the hospital library is. And the guy was asking him, where are you going to? He said, no, I'm going to Terence. I said, it's okay. No, it's okay. Then you can go anytime. You can go there. And the amazing thing happened today when we hand out the stationery packs is that one of the another two, slightly older than him, part of the gang, went on the border of the territory and said to the other kids, you can come to our area. We can come to our area. We can come get you some stationery. We promise you that we won't shoot, we won't do anything, because Terence is doing the work that and is giving out the stuff. And I was just blown away by the fact that these guys are respecting what we do. And again, it's because of prayer, and it's because I stuck to the fact that I've got a mission and I've got purpose. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm living out this mission, and I'm living out this purpose that God has given me to enable to change the way people think in the community about themselves.
Man, that's a great story, man. That's a great story that even the gang members are recognizing that you're adding value to the lives of the children, which are the future. Let me ask you this, man. What's something that people seem to misunderstand about Terence Crowster?
Some people think that because there's a reference of other leaders that was before me, and some people that are in the community right now that is doing things to do this thing only to benefit themselves, to benefit the pockets. Yeah. The one thing that people sometimes misunderstood about me is that, and this is what I'm keep on telling them. I was there yesterday. Yeah. I'm here today, and I'm going to be there tomorrow. Yeah. And sometimes they look at you because they've been so hurt by leaders, and they think that you're going to do the same. However, what they don't understand is that I love my community. Yeah. I grew up in that community. Yeah. I died in the same streets. I walk in the same streets. I fell in love in the same streets. Yeah. My heart was broken in the same streets. Yeah. And because of that, because of my frustration of where I am and where my community are, some people don't understand it. Why are you still here? You could have left. You see the gang violence. You see this. But sometimes people don't understand that I've been called for this. Yeah. Yeah, I've been called for this. Yeah. I've been called to come back to a community where I grew up and do the work in the community.
I mean, where would you go? You can't go outside of your calling. Where would you go? Yeah. You know? Yeah. Yeah, that's a beautiful story, man. I think what you're doing is wonderful. I just wanted to share this with the unstoppable audience. What advice would you give to someone listening today who knows what God has placed on their heart to start something? They don't have the resources. They don't have it, but they're kind of shying behind it. How would you encourage them to go ahead and get started today? Not even wait till next month. How would you encourage them, Terence?
Simple. So simple. Just step out of the boat and trust God. Keep your eyes focused on Him. Just step out of the boat. You don't have to sit in the boat. You don't have to face and despite of everything around you, despite of the limited things that people limiting your way of thinking. I mean, just step out of the boat. Yeah. Keep your eyes focused on God and do the small things. Start small, because you don't have to be a rich facilitator. You don't have to be a rich leader to be a good leader. Yeah. All you need to do is to do the small things and do it well. Wow. That's what
you mean I don't have to be an expert first?
You don't have to be an expert.
You just need to know that you've been called to receive this purpose in your life. That's the reason why you were born. You were born for a purpose.
Yeah.
And the things that we sometimes, the people, I was thinking like that. I was thinking that I need to have this. I need to have this huge amount of money. I need to have this resources. I had this resources the whole time, and that's my faith.
Wow.
And just using my faith and stepping out and doing something small. Yeah.
Did you guys hear that? He said he had the resources the whole time. I don't know who we're talking to. I don't know who's afraid to step out, but Terence is telling you, you've had the resources the whole time. Terence, thank you, man, for being a part of this program. Thank you for doing what you do. How can my audience find you, connect with you? You gave us the address. I'm going to be posting that up, the address on this podcast when it's published, so they can send books to you. But how can they follow you? How can they connect with you?
So there's an obviously I've got a Facebook page called Terence Crowster, and then I've got another one called Restoration Youth Development Program.
Okay. So
it's Restoration Youth Development Program, because it's all about restoring God's purpose, restoring God's heart in the community again. That's my Facebook page, and then I've started doing this interviews with people in the community to inspire other young people. So what I do is I do some interviews where I interview either ex-gang leaders that came to know Christ, or people that suffered or going through depression or tried to commit suicide, or drug, or guys that was in substance abuse. I've started this Facebook account called Terence Crowster as seen on TV.
Okay.
I've been fortunate enough to be on a few of the programs on our TV as well.
That's
yeah,
great.
so I've got that.
Thank you. Terence, last question. I ask all my guests, and I think my audience waits for it. If you could have a billboard anywhere in the world, where would it be and what would it say? It's your one billboard. It'll say Terence Crowster under this statement. If you had to have a billboard anywhere in the world, where would it be and what would it say?
I would go back to my favorite scripture. And it would say, as a man thinketh in his heart, so shall it be.
I love it.
That's exactly what we try. Sometimes that's the way. I just want to break the mental slavery of people. If they can see that, if young people can see the potential.
Yeah.
That's if they can only see.
And where would you put it? Where would you put it?
I would put it in my community where I grew up. I would put it.
Amen. I love it.
I would put it right in the face of every school as people come out. This is where you need to see it. Because if we can start as young at the youngest age, so that they can start thinking differently, then we will have a better community. Because a healthy me equals a healthy home, equals a healthy community, equals a healthy nation. Yeah. And that's everything starts with me.
Thank you, Terence, man, for being on the Unstoppable program. Thank you for giving me your time all the way over in Cape Town, South Africa. I'm over here in United States, place called New Jersey. Who knew? With all this technology, you and I connected. I feel like I found not only a friend, I feel like I found someone cut from the same cloth, just a different corner, man, just a different corner of the same cloth. And I thank God for you, man. Thank you for coming on.
And also thank you for what you're doing. Your show, your time that you spend in just doing what you're doing. And again, I found my brother. I found my friend.
Without a doubt.
Thank you for being part of and allowing me to be part of your journey.
Yeah.
Of what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Now, will you come back on the show? Will you come back?
Oh, definitely. Okay. If you invite me, I'll definitely be there.
Oh, yeah. We're going to invite you back because we're going to need an update. But guys, you've been listening to the Unstoppable podcast. Thank you guys for listening and tuning in. Share this with somebody. Share this and, let's be unstoppable together. Guys, if you haven't already, jump on over my website, ralphgravesjr.com, and go to the apply section. We are starting a 6-week transformational personal development, transformational mastermind group. And I would love for you to be a part of it. It is of great value. We're giving you a lot in that class. Hit apply, and our team will get back to you and tell you. I mean, you get coaching calls, you get access to me, you get a cohort that you'll be going through between 10 and 20 people. We're trying to fill it up with 20 people. We don't want to go over 20. But join that wherever you are in the world, wherever you are listening, and you want to be part of that. And let's grow. And you get some bonus things going on there. But let's be unstoppable together. Until next time, I'm Ralph Graves. I'll see you next time.